Hello, this is Chris Walker. Well, we are going back to basically why I wanted to start Marvel Chats 2 off to begin uh, with talking about Moon Knight, but we weren't able to due to a busy hectic school schedule. Um, and a lot of other factors. So we are going to talk about that today um, in a 3 week, uh, 2 episode fashion. Um, so you'll see episode, I talked about episode 1 and 2 today, and over the course of the coming 2 weeks, we will talk about 3, 4, 5, 6. We will get over it fast um, so we can talk about She-Hulk after a 1 week break. And next week, when we are talking about Moon Knight, we will give some time because we will give our thoughts or discussions about the recent reveal of the rest of the Phase 4 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the San Diego Comic Con is back in session after a 2 year hiatus, and Marvel is still to kind of give glimpses uh, of the remainder of what Phase 4 is to be. Plus, we have the Disney uh, thing in September, the D23. So we'll be able to have a lot of good stuff. But now we're gonna talk about Moon Knight. Third one. Uh, yeah, my dad and I started watching like episode 1 and 2 together. So for me, this was like nothing new. This was more like a catch up and try and bring me back to that. Um, and to try and watch it again so I can catch it the second time because the first time I was like totally confused on what was going on.
Yeah, I felt the same way too. And like I watched the series already and recapping on episode 1, I felt the same way too. I felt like I was in a thrill seat. I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? The scene here. Then there was like a jump cut there. It's like, who is he's Mark or is he Steven? So what's the story? And like the exposition seemed kind of like a sense of mystery vibe to it, which
Yeah,
I like the sensory mystery. It's like, what's going on here? At the same time, knowing that this is just the first episode, I'm sure this will get even more juicier with the storytelling and the characters' arcs.
yeah, that's crazier and crazier, I heard.
Yeah,
Um, which is what I love because this takes Marvel in a way different direction. Um, I know they did it with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but this was like way before the Multiverse of Madness ever came out, like 2 months before. And they're trying something new with the kind of the horror, the mysterious aspect of it.
yeah. Who is Steven? Who is Mark Scepter? And like we know, Steven's this guy, shy, calm, collect kind of guy. He's works for a museum in the gift shop area. We kind of gathered that a little bit with the first exposition, with the first 15 minutes or so, and it takes a different turns of events as it unravels.
Yeah, cause Dad was watching it with me, and yeah, he's like first blackout. It's like in London, first blackout. Okay, he's in the Alps.
Yeah,
He's
and
somewhere in Austria, and then it cuts again to the freeway chase. Yeah, it's like, okay, what the heck is going on here?
I felt the same way watching it again this time around. And like I noticed like going from him playing with a Rubik's Cube
Yeah,
and it goes to like a black screen. And the next is like we see him waking up in, like on an open grassy field in the Alps.
yeah,
That was very much like a jump cut. At the same time, it's like, what kind of cut was this? I know
yeah,
it's a jump cut, and I know they're doing some sort of like a cool effect here. It's still like questions me like they could have done an interesting way with the transitions, make it look like he's blacking out.
yeah.
Maybe have like a flash or something in between those two.
Yeah, and I like the editing they did and the voiceover with the solving the like trying to solve puzzles or reading a book and getting lost in your favorite chapter. I kind of got the impression when I was watching it the second time he was getting lost in his own mind in his own chapter the second time I watched it. Um, yeah. So yeah, then put I like the way the song Man Without Love. I like how the song was played the first time and then the song was played again when he woke up. It was kind of like a repeat, more of the same events, but when he finds the goldfish, he's it's kind of like, okay, what's going on? Because there's new like hurdle to throw in there.
What happened here? My fish grew another tail.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, there's also the surrender your body to Mark, and you're waking up in Australian Alps, and the alcohol, which I'm with you. I like the fact that they included Ethan Hawke in the Marvel universe. Because
Yeah, I am too.
yeah, when I mean Oscar, Oscar Isaac, I mean I like the guy in it, but when I heard Ethan Hawke was in it, that's what got me hooked. I'm like,
Ah,
okay, I'm in just because of Ethan Hawke. I mean, he's a
yeah,
great,
he's a great actor.
yeah,
And I was like thinking, in what form or capacity who will he play in the series? And boom, we know in the series already. I was kind of curious, will he be like a side character, the side story, or like a supporting way? And like when I was like watching the first round, I'm like thinking, oh, he's playing a bigger role. I like this.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, they introduced him in the beginning, but in the uh, play credit, but you only see him from behind. It isn't until the whole Austrian Alps and the whole uh, judge judgment scene for from Ahmad that yeah kicks everything into high gear, and I loved how I didn't notice it the first time, but I loved how his tattoo moved. And
Yeah, it's really
colors.
interesting with the tattoo and the visual effect as it shifts from side to side.
Yeah, and the balance. And yeah, when he killed that old lady, yeah, the dust was kind of like almost the infinity snap that Thanos uses, kind of to me.
Yeah, I see that now. I didn't dawned it to me till now.
Yeah, and so okay, let's see. Then we have the scale, see everything, and then the scalp, and then another blackout, and yeah, and we saw Stephen killing people, and I just love the fact also in that college chasing. I mean, my we were both laughing and chuckling out of the scene where he likes and I like in a cupcake truck being chased by men. But
Yeah, I thought that was humorous too. At the
yeah,
same time, with the choice of song they played during that chase sequence.
yeah, that's what I was going to say next.
Oh,
I don't. No, you're right. I really loved the use of the "Wake Me Up Before You Go" song, and I was like, "Oh, cool! They're using man George Michael. Interesting." So, yep. So then, I mean, and when he's driving, then you have another blackout. And I think I wrote the word blackout on my notes like 4 or 5 times.
yeah, there was more.
Yeah.
It's good that we see that. It's like, okay, we see his character, he's having these blackouts. At the same time, are they blackouts or are they not blackouts? But after like a couple of them, it's like, oh, he's having blackouts.
Yeah. And then, yeah, then I was back in London, just a dream. And then I was back at the song at the beginning. Then when he find the two friends, and then he misses his date, and then he calls, and it's like 2 days later. That's when he knows something isn't quite right here.
Yeah, and something feels off, but he just can't put it like he just can't figure it out. He just knows something's off about him and time with him.
Yeah, but yeah, I like how the whole, like you said, the editing process, and also the fact that he talks with a golden statue. It establishes like Stephen as a bit of a loner. Um,
Yeah, that really shows in the first episode.
yeah, and then like halfway through the episode, we get the moment that we saw in the trailer that the we see him finding the cell phone, and he calls the person Layla, which we don't see in full until the second episode, because I wrote in my notes Layla in voiceover. Um, and then we find out that Stephen Knight is Mark. And
Yeah,
then a dual identity crisis, and then dark atmospheric setting in the room. And you London bus, and then he finds out that everything from his dream is real. I mean, on the how the guy in his dreams is real. And yeah,
he really questions his reality. It's like, what is real? What's not real? And like, then he has that revelation of like, oh, this is real. And
mhm,
like, he has to accept the way his situation is. It's like, oh, it's this.
yeah, and then yeah, I wrote down like the little quote of "there's chaos in you," well, he's trying to like uh, get a rating of um, of Stephen's arms, and he's like, "There's chaos in you. It's not balanced. The scales are not balanced." But
Yeah, and
it's
there's stuff going on inside the mind and his brain.
like, yeah, and then yeah, I wrote suspenseful music. I liked how the scene of him trying to go home. I liked how he was exploring, and everything was like in a dark atmospheric tone. Um,
Yeah, I did too.
and
It was very dramatically tensed, heavy, and they really played that well in the moment too, and with the music too.
yeah, yeah, they did that there, and then the scene earlier where he's in an elevator and he sees the bald guy. Um, yeah, so
And his own world's like unraveling. Am I dreaming or is this real? I feel like I'm going crazy in my
I,
own head.
yeah, then see, we don't actually see the the superhero in this episode until like at the end.
Yeah, and
But
like this is probably set the setup for that.
yeah, it's a set of which I like how they did the character development of this guy in a dual identity. He questions the sanity of what's real or not. But then it's at that moment where Mark and the mayor tells him to give him control, he kind of like loses his sanity even further.
Yeah, he goes down that rabbit hole in his head, metaphorically speaking, that is.
Yeah, yeah, and I really like that moment in the bathroom where the the actual Mark is in the mail, and you're talking to Stephen, and Stephen's like, "Is this figment of my imagination?" And how is the guy talking to me?
Right. And he starts to hear voices. Sooner or later, he starts seeing like Mark, like in mirrors and reflections.
Yeah, so yeah, I yeah. Uh, if we were talking about this in like March or April, I would have said this is an interesting take, and I love to see how it goes with the rest of the season.
I feel the same way too. It's not like your normal streamlined superhero Marvel show. And you're right, it's very much of a different take on a superhero genre like Marvel, and like almost kind of like a darker version of Mummy and the Indiana Jones a little bit with a different take.
Yeah, I got kind of little of a mummy or vibe while watching it. Um, the Brandon Fraser one, not the Tom Cruise one. Because,
That would be cool, but
yeah,
like I know it's more about the character arc than like the big cameo actors.
yeah, because when I heard about Tom Cruise doing the mummy, I'm like, that's a different direction.
Yeah, I felt the same way too.
Um, Summon the suit, which is a phrase they use a lot throughout the episode, um, which I like. kind of gives you a sense of mystery, like is he gonna call the suit?
Right.
Um,
I was thinking the same thing too. It's like, how's he going to call a suit? Suit?
yeah,
Shazam on, or some sort of catchphrase or something?
yeah, because all you heard in the previous episode was when Mark says to me, I'm gonna take control of your body. And yeah, and then he gets super cool like effect.
And we see that transformation
Hmm.
with the fact of it going from into Moon Knight, the character itself. It
Yeah,
was really cool how they did the wrapping and the visuals and switching that to that transformation, that change.
yeah, and I liked how I mean the opening scene where he sees the crime scene and he tries to convince the guy then his sanity is even further off at this point. Because it's like what to trust in the images he's seen, and did he really cause the bathroom explosion or not?
Yeah, and we like see that well soon after that actually, and he sees him with the security guy. He sees the cameras, and all he sees is just Mark.
Hmm.
It's like, is this real or not real?
Yeah,
But it's real.
yeah,
He's the only one that could see it.
yeah, and the only subtle hint we see is the Mark giving him the wink or looking at the camera and just doing this sly grin. That was it.
Yeah,
Yeah, up to that. So we got to see more of Layla at this point, um, which I was trying to find one walk in Layla, but I mean, this'll do. Um, but yeah, I really liked how Mark was trying, or Stephen was trying to look at himself in the mirror again and trying to call Mark, and Mark isn't there.
yeah,
But
and we see that reaction of that.
but he does go to the storage locker place and he like has another confrontation with them. And at that point, it's like his sanity has gone even further down because, yeah, he's mad at Mark for like the blackouts and having him lose his job.
Yeah, and he starts like, why is all this happening? And like he wants to keep his job. He wants to have his normal routines
Yeah, so
uh, versus distractions and of weird blackouts.
yeah, yeah, so yeah, and I really love the cinematography of of him in the storage locker as the lights go like blinking on and off.
Yeah, I noticed that too. The lighting, they really focused lighting more on episode 2,
Yeah,
especially when he's in the storage room. We see a little more silhouettes, we see a little more shadows. They really like played the color palette with the lighting. It's like, how
yeah,
dramatic do we want it? Dark or darker or a little bit of lighter? Why don't we add a little bit of shadows here and there? Why don't we add a little more silhouettes over here and see where the path of light is hitting on Mark and everything else in the storage room?
yeah, and I saw everything is mostly of a green hue color. Even when he goes and finds the stuff in the storage locker. I mean, when he's talking with Mark in the mail, everything is green.
Yeah, which I like. They really like played the color palette in this episode, and that's one was one of my favorite is when he's in the storage room
Yeah,
because
I
we see the color of the green in there.
I do agree. Yeah, then let's see. I also got the sleeping disorder, and then when he gets arrested by those cops who who is working with Paul, we learn a little more about Mark Spector and who he is.
Yeah, especially seeing that bag and some of those fake passports IDs. It's like, who is Mark? Okay, Mark is mercenary at the same time. He has to have different identities.
And then I like the whole I love the whole Ethan Hawke Oscar Isaac conversation about about judgment and like I said,
And who Conchu is.
medicine versus the medicine versus poison. Yeah, when he's talking about the judgment of play evil. So I did write down the quote, but I liked how he was talking and justifying his reasons for being there at that moment and calling upon Ahmed. And it really gives like these two characters a sense of purpose almost.
Oh yeah, very much so, and seeing their perspective of who they are. And like Harold is kind of like this spiritual type leader. At the same time, we learn in this episode he was an avatar for Khonshu. Now he's with someone else, and we see his motivations and what he's about as far as personality.
Yeah, and I loved how the voice of Khonshu was always in the background in the mindset of Mark or Steven, and he's like, is he talking to you right now? And
they really picked a great person to play the voice of Khonshu, bringing that such gravitas and depth into that character.
I didn't know who he was at the beginning. When I saw his name, all I was thinking is that the guy who played Gandalf? Because his voice already sounds like the guy who played Gandalf in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I can see that. And like Murray F. Abraham.
Yeah, F. Murray Abraham. But they both have that gravitas voice. Well, they
do.
And I
think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I liked how you mentioned the mummy because the Egyptian jackal that the guy encounters and the Khonshu bird creature is or does have that same visual effect style that they used for the mummy.
Huh.
And kind of gave it a nice, kind of almost a nice callback reference, inspiration.
Yeah, I felt the same vibe as well. It was really cool too.
Yeah, so then
and the visuals of that jackal. Oh my god.
Yeah, I like
really cool.
Yeah, I liked how they brought Layla into the fight.
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
see like her story and where she plays a part.
yeah. So yeah, then yeah, we get the ceremonial shoot, and yeah, I liked when he's talking with the guy in the mail who's Mark, and she's like, I said something to shoot, something to ceremonial shoot, not psychic Colonel Sanders.
And he's like, "It's a nice suit." That was like one of my favorite quotes from this episode. It's a nice suit. Yeah, but you look like something like Colonel Sanders. Mm.
Yeah, so and then I like the fact that Mark or Stephen had Mark take control of him as Moon Knight. Um, and yeah, the little fight on the rooftop. But yeah, we get to twist because afterwards, um, yeah, yeah, don't realize when Mark is conversing with Stephen, but then you find out in the twist that Mark still wants to be control of his body, and Stephen's trapped in the mail.
Yep, he's like been benched,
And then,
metaphorically speaking.
yeah, I like the whole like editing sequence of like stop it, stop it, stop it, and he smashes the mail. It was almost kind of like he was still a Mark that still had that Stephen inside of him, and yeah, Mark just yeah, it's like the dual identity was trying to come out, and with them smashing it, it was almost like trying to suppress it.
Yeah, I felt the same vibe too.
Yeah, and then yeah, but the editing, and then yeah, then yeah, we get a hint at yeah, like the next episode. Well, Khonshu sends him to Egypt, and it's like, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah, and
So,
we're going to see Mark and Steven go. Will we see Layla again, or will we not see Layla again?
yeah, so I
Great
yeah,
questions to have to think about in the next episode.
yeah, so many questions. I hope to do all my notes like next week, uh, like what's 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, we can talk about them and me having more time because yeah, and also thank you for yeah putting on Facebook because I was going to spend a little bit. I know about the time left,
Yeah, I see the time too.
but yeah, I was going to mention about the Comic-Con thing next week. And
Gotcha.
and I mean, yeah, if you don't have time left, like after talking about 3 and 4, I might do like another thing, um, like where we do like a little quick mini run through on it, on what to
I,
expect in like the rest of phase 4, if he's gonna announce in phase 5 what's gonna happen with that.
sounds cool to me.
Yeah, because like I said already, we might see some of, like in one of the Avengers movies you talked about, we might see like Miss Marvel, or we might see Kate Bishop back in one of
Yeah,
those Avengers films that you put up there.
I'm excited for Comic Con over this weekend with trailers coming out. Oh my god!
Yeah, I saw.
Talk to you next week, man.
I
Marvel out.
love. Okay, that was our talks on Moon Knight, the first two episodes. We look forward to do this again with episodes 3, 4, like I said, next week, and hopefully 5 and 6 the week after. But next week, when we are talking about episodes 3 and 4, I would like to do somewhat of a quick recap and all our discussions, because the San Diego Comic-Con is back in session after a 2-year hiatus, and I gotta say, I really am gonna miss Comic-Con, because I was one in the minority who loved the virtual Comic-Con for the past 2 years. I mean, everything pretty much I wanted to see, I just downloaded and watched later. But that being said, since Comic-Con is back in San Diego, all good things must come to an end. So virtual Comic-Con is over, and now we're back to San Diego. But Marvel, this is Marvel's first outing since Cup or presentation in Hall H, since about 2018 or 2017. So after basically 4 to 5 year hiatus, they're back, and hopefully they're gonna talk about the remaining Phase 4 films, and hopefully or not, give us a glimpse into Phase 5. So we'll discuss it all next week. So I'm Chris Walker, Marvel out.